I'm expecting, let's see, I'm expecting Bob Arkalian for the Route 97 stuff, and we're expecting Eric Harper for the 441 Main Street. And I don't think either one of them will be here till 7:30, so maybe we can get some of this stuff out of the way.
Great.
All right, so I'll take a motion to open the meeting.
Second.
7:08. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Okay. Acceptance of minutes from January 14th, 2015. So where are those? They're right here. Here they are.
Peruse.
Take a quick look at those. Here, Jeff, if you want to look at this, this is the permits for school and center. Hello. Hi. Yes. Oh, okay. Yeah, Julie will be right there. Sorry about that. It's locked out. I would have gone home if I was. Okay.
No wonder we didn't got a big crowd.
We're all outside.
We were all
Oh,
outside.
boy, you got the camera today.
It's already on. So say hello.
Thank
you.
Yep.
Already opened the meeting.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. A minute ago.
Minutes and...
How are you doing, Carl?
How am I doing? I'm getting sick of snow.
You were another person in Massachusetts.
I don't know if you don't know what it is. I like on that last one, there's all these things, profound things people said, and then Schaefer said we should look at plans. On the next one. Sign it. Should be fine. You can start the signing process, right?
Yeah, if you want
Yeah.
to, because we get a vote to close it and accept it, but otherwise I'll tear it up. I'm doing them a favor because we wanted it done quickly, so.
Using it quickly. Ends up lost a little bit.
Okay, so we still are looking for 2 new members. I did have, someone told me their spouse might be interested, so I gotta contact this unnamed person to see if their spouse is indeed interested. But if anyone is interested in joining the commission, or if you know anyone who's interested in joining the commission, please contact me. Leave a note in our mailbox at Town Hall. And we need to have a vote on the chairperson. So we'll take nominations from the floor. Anyone want to be chairman? Nominate somebody?
I'd like to nominate Mike Dempsey.
No.
I second that.
Mike's not running anymore.
Well, he doesn't have to vote for himself.
He's modest.
All right, so I am nominated. Any other nominees? Anybody else want to do it?
You wanna do it, Carl?
What, be chair? Are you kidding?
All right. Move that we vote on the chair.
Second.
Sole nominee is myself. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Okay.
It's a great benefits package.
Yes, I know. I can't.
You should have
seconded
voted.
that?
I did. You should have voted no for the record.
It's useless. Okay, let's see. All right. Let's talk next about number 6.
6.
6, the sign-off procedures discussion. Okay.
That's 5, isn't it?
Number 5, yep, sorry. I attended a meeting with the selectmen and a number of other people from other boards and commissions on January 17th. And we went through the sign-off procedures and the whole permit discussion. And as we are well aware, we know of the issues and difficulties, and so those were brought up, not by myself as much as some of the other people there. And so the selectmen want 2 things. They want us to give them a copy of our procedures. So I prepared that because they were kind of updated. So this is our current step-by-step guide to the permit application process. Take a look at that, see if I left anything out. And also, I submitted this dummy building permit checkoff list. And hopefully I added some things. I just got one of those. You could just pass that down and look at it quickly. They kind of like that. So I figured I'd give it to them again.
They should. It's significantly better than the existing.
Yeah, I mean, at least it's got a date on it and a project description on it, which aren't on the current one.
There's not a lot of room right
No,
now.
I know, it's tough. It's for the number of, people that have to sign it. But, and they also talked about going back to mandatory signatures for everybody.
So, are you ready for comments on?
Yeah.
stuff?
Yeah,
So, the steps for the permit application.
yes.
If there are wetlands in the vicinity, number 2, if there are wetlands in the vicinity of your project, it seems to me it would be fair to at least throw out just the general guidelines, because most people wouldn't understand, 100 feet from wetlands and 200 feet from river or other thing.
Yeah.
Just because in the vicinity is 100% ambiguous.
Oh, I know, it's meant to be.
But
I didn't write,
here's the problem.
this was from another one that I altered, and that's what they had in there.
Here's my problem with the ambiguousness. Everyone will use ambiguousness to their benefit. There's no wetlands in my vicinity.
Right, if it's 50 feet
So,
away, that's not enough.
So,
That's fair.
so we can say if there are wetlands within 100 feet of your
I
project.
think so.
You said-
Or 200
Yeah, I
feet.
think you said 200.
I think you have to say-
200
you have to
so
go
that
with the
at
big-
least it gets a review.
Exactly, you have to
If it's
go,
200.
you have to go to the 200 so that people then don't use it against us,
Right.
right?
I would
You should
also,
almost say or it could
Yeah,
affect
instead of showing
wetlands
snow.
due to the slope or whatever it is, because it's not even necessarily 200.
Yeah.
right,
I mean, the general guideline, 100, 200
Right.
is a useful and something
Okay.
worth
Rule
knowing.
of thumb, especially if this
maybe
is a
add
published.
to that, like, or have
Drive
a
the
social
road,
effect.
the minute you cross
on
over
wetlands.
West Street.
Yeah, but see,
Beyond.
they're not gonna be able to know that.
But I think Carl's point is that
Clear,
it automatically,
that's just a
it doesn't force them, but it indicates to them they need to come talk to us if they don't truly understand what's going on. I mean, that's.
So how would you say that?
Yeah, I don't know how you, it's
Within-
the contour one that's
If
hard.
if there are wetlands
Within,
within 100,
or 200 feet,
200 feet?
Yeah.
within 200 feet,
Or
there's a-
wetlands could be
or if it-
affected
or
in
if it
any
affects the
way.
wetlands.
or like the possibility that the wetlands could be affected
Yep.
if beyond 200 feet.
yep, and then that's it, that's all you have to say, that sentence, and we're good.
So if there are wetlands within 200 feet, or
Or a
if it
possibility,
affects the wetlands.
Yep,
Right.
or a
Or it could
possibility
potentially,
of
yeah,
affecting
affect-
the wetlands outside of 200 feet.
yep, I think that's perfect. Cause now that puts
It gets a look at, yeah. It gets a,
puts a line in the sand.
Yeah.
it does.
Are we still gonna force advertisement in local paper?
Yeah, cause it's required for the DEP stuff.
It is.
Now, on this, you notice I haven't, I'm gonna do a separate sheet for us. And we could decide if we want to distribute it or not, but you know how we have our guidelines on what's a notice of intent, what's a DEP notice of intent, all that stuff. I used to have one of those and I don't know where it went, so I'm gonna do another one.
The 11 by 17 was great.
Yeah, that big one, but even just a plain sheet of paper with those guidelines on it for us to use probably wouldn't be a bad idea.
Absolutely.
Can we, you could put the fees on that, or, I'm trying to remember the fee schedule we have, it's really clear, because I think there was one part at some point, it was sort of a, not ambiguous, but it could be interpreted, it was a little difficult, I forget which one it was. I thought we had fixed it, maybe we fixed it a couple years ago, but,
What the fee then?
Yeah, see, you see it there? You can't change the fee, but we could fix the language.
right.
So, one other thing about the next one, the
Yep.
permit checklist. It says owner's name, owner's address.
Yes,
It really should have another thing here for applicant's name, applicant's address, which is typically a different person. You need both.
Yeah, and a contact, phone.
It's always somebody else in behalf of somebody else.
yep,
Can we also add, email besides phone?
yep. Just write it on the top, cause I'll do it again.
Modify.
So you got owners, which is clear, owner is a clear
Yep.
definition, then so the next one has to be applicant, I
Yeah.
guess?
Yeah.
We're out of space.
Now, there's no guarantee we're gonna get that stuff, because this is just a suggestion that we're asked to do,
Yeah.
so, but
Address plus phone,
if we don't ask for it, we definitely
name,
won't get it.
address and phone.
I think you might be able to get some space if you bifurcate it and make it two columns worth.
Well, owner's name doesn't need to have a whole line,
Right.
you can collapse.
Right, yeah, owner's name, applicant's name, applicant's
Exactly, it
address,
should be
yeah.
one line, they can fit it in, right? Owner's name and address, plus telephone number, it could all get on one line.
Yeah.
I think we cleaned it up, it was up here where it was confusing
We
whether it was
fixed it.
an existing single family house or a new family house, or I remember, something like that, a
Okay.
few years ago.
Okay, so there is another meeting scheduled as a follow-up to this meeting that was held on January 17th, scheduled for February 28th at Town Hall, 9 a.m. It's a Saturday. I can't go because I'm going to be on vacation that weekend. So I need somebody else to go, bringing I'm going to email Denise this form and this form, so she'll have this stuff, because they wanted it 2 weeks ahead of time. But we need to have somebody else there to kind of argue our case, particularly with what we want on this thing.
Yes,
What did the other,
so we're gonna both be gone.
whatchamacallit, boards have, what they
Um,
equal, I mean, we always seem to like, we have issues contacting people, or there's not enough information on it to clearly show.
Yeah, they talked about not enough information, they talked about, the big thing was about whether everyone should be mandatory or not. I have a copy of the minutes here, let's see.
I was just curious what
I don't know that there's anything other big things, yeah, mostly this stuff. So, can anybody take this on? Because I hate to see us not be represented.
I can try, but I don't know yet. I'm traveling next week, but I don't know beyond that.
Yeah,
Carl and I both have the same possible commitment as well. There's a Cub Scouts event, we're going down the Fall River,
oh,
but I don't know what time we need to be there.
yeah. Well, this is gonna take up 9 to probably 11 anyway. This is a couple hour meeting on Saturday.
Do you remember what time?
I'm coming in on an airplane too that morning.
Are you right? Okay, so you're out. I'm a maybe. Terry, let's sign this one up for Terry.
She's not here.
Well, all right, so maybe either Tom or Terry. And what I'll do is I'll take this thing home and I'll scan it in, and then I'll email it to whoever,
Well, you're emailing it to the person at town.
yeah, but this thing from the packet from that
Oh,
previous
the old,
meeting.
okay.
Okay.
You guys doing the sleeping over?
Battleship Cove.
Fine, I'm gonna go out to
You're gonna be,
California
you just be
next
out the
week.
whole time.
I'll be,
You'll be out the
Oh.
whole time, kids will be running them.
Yeah.
Carl will be
Stop
sleeping.
and go around.
My family's flying out that, and he wants me to go with him, so,
That'll give me an excuse
what?
that you won't go. You gotta do this instead.
No, I think,
Just
I don't
kidding.
know.
I'm just kidding. All right, so that's February 28th at 9 a.m. Terry, all right,
Can I, on the step-by-step guide,
yes,
I know we have it in the fees, and we have it on here about you have to apply 3 weeks ahead of time. But I'm wondering if we wanna put something in there about getting a, COC signed.
well,
And because we get these phone calls, the house closing's tomorrow.
yes,
you know.
so if you wanna add anything about the COC, it would be number 11. We could just add, please allow ample time to do this, or something.
Yeah, I mean, I just
to
don't
that
wanna,
effect.
you know, cause then they can't get a hold of us, then it's like, well, you did it last time for so-and-so, it's like, well, we don't have a policy of doing it within 24 hours.
Please leave at least 1 week to receive your COC before your closing or other event.
I would maybe do 2 weeks if.
Had somebody locked up trying to get in.
2 weeks.
I mean, what do you
Yeah.
think?
2 weeks, yeah, why not?
So, you want me to
2
take
weeks.
to,
You know what, Julie, I'll
I'll put
update
this
this, then I'll email it to you, so you have a copy of it too.
How about that? So it's, yeah, 2.5 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks from Saturday.
so the last thing we'll take care of before we do the Route 97 hearing continuation is we'll talk about 441 Main Street. So, let's see. At our last meeting, you requested that I send a letter, and I did that. That's the letter. And I also asked Mr. Harper to come tonight to give us an update.
I didn't sign that.
Oh, you didn't sign, I'm just gonna sign it while you're looking at that.
Don't you believe you got paid by the hour? Money.
Okay.
All right, that's so,
Time and
that's what I believe you
a half.
requested.
Go to Florida.
No, that's what we said.
Okay. So, Mr. Harper's here tonight to give us an update on the two things that we asked. So we asked in that letter to have all the floats and large boats and mechanical devices moved out of the 200-foot buffer zone by today. And also that you would give us written plans for the work that you wanted to get done in the closing in the building and performing the fence repair.
Okay, so as you know, things have changed, and to our best, the best of our ability, we've been hit with snow, and nothing's going to happen down there for a while. We're just piled up with snow all over the place. So this is Peter Noyes. He just he's the owner of the boats, and has moved all the boats up into the asphalt, but we're at a point where, I mean, there's just piles of snow down there. It's gonna be a long time before they can be moved. And I'd like to say that, you know, the plan was to have them moved by today, and then we got hit by snow. When I called Peter, he was down in South Carolina? South Carolina. He arrived back at the end of January, and we've had nothing but snow since.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's just no way. There's no way. I've got snow piled up all over the place. It's an impossibility. And I don't know when we're gonna get it thawed. There's not too much I can do down here.
How did you move the floats on there?
Pardon me?
How did you move the floats on there?
I apologize for putting Mr. Harper in this position. I'm just a small business. I hired a crane to pick them out of the water, and I moved everything I could move with my own truck and trailer
Right.
immediately. And then I've been working since to get a machine big enough that I could try to move the floats
Further away.
further away. I mean, a crane picking them up is one thing, moving them across the land is a different problem in itself, and now with the snow, I'm sort of in
So did I hear that right, that you originally got them there by, they were in the river water and you pulled them out of the river water?
lifted them out with a crane, hired a crane to
From the
lift
water though, that
From
was
the
the
water,
access.
yes.
No, the crane wasn't in the water, was it?
No,
but in other words, it didn't come from,
It didn't come overland.
come over
Oh,
land,
no,
it came
they're-
via sea, I
it's
guess,
too-
right?
it's
They're too big to travel on a road.
So how were you gonna move them? Were you gonna lift them?
Well,
up with the crane?
I purchased a used front end loader
Okay.
that was didn't work out very well so far. I found a local man who works on tractors who said when the snow melts he'll work on it. The guy in New Hampshire I bought the tractor from, I took him for his word that it ran well enough. I don't need it to run but once or twice a year. That didn't turn out to be true. It's
Right.
inoperable at the moment. I've been working on it myself, and the people I need to work on it won't work outside right now.
Right. Where's the tractor? Is that
It's down there.
beyond 200 feet from the river?
No. I guess that's my fault. I didn't expect it to
Stay where it's
Stop. where it stopped.
Right.
Um,
Is anything leaking?
No. No. I mean, there's nothing running, it's just sitting. Anyhow, I'm just here to ask if it's at all possible not to cause a great deal of trouble for Mr. Harper, which will only come eventually down onto me. I'm just a small business, and I really need the snow to melt in order to move those flows.
So they just want,
I don't think they're harming anything.
the intent was if the tractor worked, you were gonna lift them with that and just drag them along or something like that? Is that what
Put rollers or something under them
and
and try
then,
to skid them all over to whatever your boundary is.
right.
In other cities and towns, they pretty much haul them out like I did with the crane, and they sit there and, near the water, but that's where they came from. I don't know, I can't speak to what will come of the eventual use of the property. I hope it will be allowed to have a water dependent use, because that's what I do. They've been there for a year and a half, they haven't, they're not hurting anything.
That's not our, we don't agree with you.
Oh.
That's the reason why we've asked them to be removed.
So, I understand that the zoning board may have addressed this same issue, is that true?
I'm not clear on where the I have not been able to figure out what the zoning board's coming from.
Okay.
Because everything I read, I'm confused as to where they're standing on anything. But I think eventually it's probably gonna have to be settled in the court, because, I don't think there's a lot of clarity there. And, I do have rights to that property, and, I don't think they're being addressed at all. So, hey, I think it's gonna be a long haul there, but, I really have trouble understanding what is going on with the zoning board
Okay.
at this point.
So what do you wanna do, commissioners? We can give another date, or, I mean, I don't know that anybody's gonna be able to say when those things are gonna be moved.
Well, just random thoughts. Having the snow melt and then having the whole thing be wet doesn't sound like a great thing to me. So in fact, waiting until the snow melts isn't gonna do it in my opinion, because obviously as soon as the snow melts and it's all mushy around there, it sounds to me like a great way to do a lot of damage.
I'm more concerned about working on a tractor. I mean, what's wrong? Is it like they're bolting a new track on or tire, or is it like an engine thing?
They thought it was a air valve. I charged the batteries up and went down and tried to start it today, and it wouldn't start, so I didn't want to break anything. It's frozen.
But it's not leaking, and whatever you're fixing is not like ripping the engine apart or
Oh no,
stuff is
no,
going all over
no,
the place.
no. I can only say what the theory of the mechanic was. There's an air valve that is stuck in the wrong position that disconnects the transmission once the air pressure builds up. So that's,
You know, normally we have anybody doing septic work or any other kind of work, they're not allowed to park heavy equipment within certain distances. You know, whatever it happens. Usually it's septic is most of the time when somebody parks something, but because of, you know, leaking fuel tanks, leaking hydraulic hoses, all that kind of stuff. I was not there for the floats before the snow came, so I can't comment on what's on those.
So, let's see if we can just put some options on the table. One option would be to extend it to the point where it made sense, where there wasn't any snow and was safe to move it, and then set a firm date, and if it's not moved by that time, daily fines begin at that time,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And the daily fines should be stiff. Right,
Well,
so
we
that,
can
so
only
that
do
it's not missed.
$300.
What's that?
We can only do $300.
$300 a day, right, that
That's
should be the fine, $300 a day after the date.
That's pretty stiff.
Yep, it is. The question is what's a reasonable date though?
Yep. Well, let's see. We're meeting again on March 11th. So what we can do is review where things are at on March 11th and then set that date. I'm imagining that maybe by March 11th, we may know better that, you know, it makes sense to say the end of March or the beginning of April.
I mean, I don't see the snow going
No,
away
I know.
anytime soon.
Could be there in May, right, but who knows? So I would suggest that we wait till our next meeting, hear from Mr. Harper where things are at, look at the weather, look at the snow, and make a decision that can they be moved 30 days from that date or not.
Okay.
You moved the boats, right, you said?
yes.
And I think there was a concern with the engines in the boat, was that?
Yeah, all that stuff was out of there.
That was all there beforehand? So the only
Well,
thing remaining now
A
is.
lot of the boats weren't there the first time when we asked for the big floats to be moved and were added after the fact, right? So I mean, it was
Okay.
actually going the wrong direction. The main, at the first time when we were there, all those other boats weren't there and our concern was the floats. The additional boats showed up afterwards, after we already asked for the removal of the floats.
Okay.
So in my mind, that was just going the wrong direction and we didn't solve the problem.
But they've been moved now.
Yeah.
I don't think there was any additional boats moved on the property.
So from the first time we were there to the second time we were there, the boats with all the tarps underneath them, they were not there the first time when we visited, and we asked for the floats to be moved.
I don't know.
I did.
The only thing I remember was those black floats, those black boxes or whatever. Those were the only things I think that were added,
Okay.
okay, but they've been moved.
Okay.
Moved.
No, you took care of everything except for the floats. I think the floats is the only
Yeah.
thing that we're
It was more of a
Yeah.
physical difficulty.
So I'm guessing a little confused. I mean, I'm in here trying to cooperate,
Yeah.
and I'm hearing, you know, fines and stuff. I mean, that, to me, that, when I start hearing fines, I start saying, okay, what do I gotta do, get a lawyer? I mean, why are we going this direction? I mean, I'm not going anywhere. I'm gonna be on that property a long time. Why am I being threatened with fines? I'm doing everything I can to do what you want.
So normally, right now would be where we're doing fines. And because you guys are here, and we completely appreciate that, and you're cooperating with us, is the reason why we're saying, okay, we're not gonna do fines right now. You came here with a concern and a hardship, and you're saying, hey, this is tough, we need more time. And we're saying, okay, you're here, you're in good faith, let's give you more time. That's the reason why we're doing that. But it's not, this isn't gonna go on over and over again, right? So we're giving, my take on this is the fourth time, or third or fourth time that at least I'm having a conversation about this, right? First time was when we were there and we asked them to be moved and they weren't. We came again and when they weren't moved, there was additional things that we had to deal with. Now this is the third time we're having the conversation where it's still not moved. And we're talking about giving an extension, that's fine, you're here in good faith, we'll give the extension. I don't wanna have a fifth and a sixth time. That's where I'm at.
I apologize, I didn't know about this till
we were asked to move the boats once, and we moved them, okay?
No, that's not true. That is not true. We were asked the first time we went out to move the floats. We came back again after you had come here. We came and we visited to check up on the situation. The floats were still there, and there were other stuff. So, I'm good with putting it, the snow is obviously brutal and historic. And so I think that it's fair if that's presenting a difficulty in moving it at this time, that we provide an extension. I'd almost, so I'm fine with, if you wanted to go that route, Mike, with
Yes.
saying next week, but next month, and take a look at it again, but I'm also fine in going farther than that, right? And saying, instead of revisiting it again next month, give them 2 months, or something a little bit longer, but then be crystal clear that if it's not done at the next time, fines begin.
So that would be mid-April.
Well, but I'd prefer to look at it again on March 11th because we don't know what the weather is gonna be like, and we may be in a similar situation as we are today, that we really don't know when they can be moved.
Okay,
So I'd rather wait until March 11th, look at it again. We'll have Mr. Harper to either call us or come in and tell us what they think about it, and then we can make a decision on that day what to do. But you know, I don't think we're gonna end up finding it, because I think you're gonna move them out of there. That's just our standard way of operating. If someone is violating our, not really, but violating the bylaw, we have to say, that you could be fined.
Our goal is to put kind of the financial incentive of you and us in the same place. So if it's gonna cost you a little bit of extra money to be a little bit more urgent about it and do it a little bit quicker, and the trade-off is the fine side, we hope that you pick not getting fined and getting it out of there quickly. It's not our goal to punish, it's our goal to protect as much as we possibly can and get those financial incentives both aimed the right way. If that makes sense.
We don't get the funds that goes to the general fund or whatever, so.
that's for sure.
It's not like
There's no incentive for us whatsoever.
Absolutely not.
So is that acceptable to wait until March 11th, and then you can either let me know, give me a
Yeah,
call and let me know?
I'm hoping that when March 11th, 11th shows up, we got them moved.
Right.
I don't wanna really, I wanna make things go as smooth as possible.
Yeah, or they don't have to be moved by March 11th, but if we have a better idea on how long it might take from that day.
So,
And we certainly don't wanna put you to force, right? If the snow does melt
yeah,
and it's all mushy,
Right.
wet, disaster, we don't want you to feel compelled
right.
to create a disaster either, right?
Right. Okay. So as far as the, I don't know how prepared I am on this, but, what I had was a little sketch of same sketch I had before, which I hope is gonna be sufficient, on this little, front on the building down there. I can give you something a little more formal later on again. But all it is, you know, this is the front of the building. The building looks something similar to that, okay? And we're just gonna put a overhead door here and a passage door. And, it really is out of your jurisdiction, but you were holding it over my head, so we moved some bolts. So we moved the bolts, and I'm just hoping that we can do that. Also along the, there's two parts of the fence that are damaged. One is on the left side, and one's on the right side. We'd like to repair the fence and put a, you know, a gate in there.
And I think that makes sense, I think we just need plans to be able to actually approve them.
Okay, so can I, what I'd like to do is I'll submit the plans directly to you, and then maybe you can, get them out and we
Yeah.
can, cause I really don't need approval, I'm just looking for some kind of, hey, listen, I'm trying to get cooperate, so I'm just looking for a letter that say that's okay. It's just maintenance.
It's easier that way for you too, if you have a letter from us.
Right. And then,
When a phone call
I
comes.
was gonna say, I believe that the part of the fence at least was within 200 feet of the river, is that?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes,
So
it
I
is.
think we do have to at least approve it in some way.
It
Okay.
makes it a lot easier for you.
Okay, so I'll tell you, I'll show you where it is, I'll give you the picture of it and kind of describe it.
Do you have a overall plot plan of the
Yeah,
property?
we have
Yeah,
that.
we've seen,
we have
we've
one,
seen
okay.
it.
Yes, I do.
Is the 200 feet delineated?
Yeah,
Yes,
And then there's a brook on the side, I think?
yeah,
Yeah.
Johnson's Creek there.
well, it's actually out of the 200 foot from that river, but it's, as far as the creek, it's within that.
Within that, on the
Yeah,
side of the
200
river.
foot from that, yes.
Okay, are there any
Alright.
other outstanding issues?
No, that's it.
Okay.
So we're looking for a phone call or?
Yeah, or,
I'll get something, I'll take care of that. It'll be early next week and then, okay,
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll see how this one goes.
thanks for your time.
Thank you for coming.
okay. So,
There's no roof there, is there?
no, we don't need to. or anything.
You done minutes now?
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
ready to to continue the hearing for the Route 97 reconstruction project.
What's up, Bob?
And Brian Sullivan sent me a message today saying that he, at our last meeting, he had requested a draft copy of the permit, which I provided today, and he didn't have any changes or comments or requests on it, so presumably this is ready to go. And he said Bob Arakalan would be here, which he is. And so, if you recall, the only issue is, if you recall, at the last meeting, it was brought up about the issue of having multiple projects open. That's not it exactly, but, you know, we've got the problem there on JB Little Road, I guess. And I had sent out the information on that request from Mass DEP to Bob regarding the work on JB Little that they wanted done from September 2013. And so I got in touch with Ron Stelline of DEP to see what exactly their concerns are and what the status as far as DEP was concerned. And he said this is what he says, they requested plantings and, talked to Bob about it. Bob said that would be done by this April 15th. And, also that they didn't want any of the material from Route 97 to be used on JB Little Road, even though that was part of the original plan, from what I understand. So, that's where we're at as far as what DEP says about that enforcement action that they had there on JB Little Road. So, I don't know, Bob,
That's
is
about,
that basically it?
right, well, it was planned like 3-4 years ago, they were gonna mill all of 97.
Yeah, yeah,
And then, so I hired engineering company to do a survey, and then obviously, they haven't done an, well, obviously, we haven't done an order of conditions yet, or not notice of intent, I mean. And I wanted to take the millings and put them on JB Little Road to make it passable better, instead of, this pavement there now, but it's big craters.
yeah.
And then we've been, you know, we went out and cut a lot of trees like 3 years ago, and that's when they gave me an enforcement order, not, you know, to stop and to replant seedlings.
Yeah.
And to clean up any wood chips that we had blown into the side of the road. So we did that, we cleaned that up, but we never got to all the seedlings. So I have to get that done by April 15th. And he doesn't want, so there's no sense in, I told the engineer, there's no sense in getting into an order of conditions now because they don't wanna use the millings.
Yeah, so basically, all you have to do is plant those trees and then
it's done.
you've done what they asked.
Right, because we did the cleanup.
Yeah,
And so I asked him, what do you allow in that? And he said gravel. So, you know, there's some big craters. People
Mhm.
still use it.
yeah,
The problem is they use it to dump a lot of stuff. Televisions.
Wasn't there a, and this is going slightly off topic, but I thought they were trying to close it, but there was one property. There's some, you can't just get rid of a road or something like that.
Well, it's hard. I think you have to go to legislature to close a road that connects another town. That's
Oh,
the,
okay.
we could close a road here in town that's not connecting to another town, but that's the, so we wanted to make it passable to, so to get it in, like, patrolled by the police, because we pick it up a lot of trash all the time.
Wonder if, can
So,
we somehow go through the DEP and say, look, it's a
Well, they
dumping
want-
ground and can we?
well, they're talking, the last time I spoke to them, which was not too long ago, they're talking about cameras. Trying to put some cameras out there, doing some enforcing that way. You know, to see people dumping.
See what-
But we
So-
really can't. The only other, when I went to the last meeting I had with them, quite a while ago, they were not DEP, but they're.
fishing game.
They were interested in buying the road.
Oh, really?
Well, that was Pat Huckabee,
Yeah.
and another young man, I can't remember his name. But I never approached, the engineer that was working with us, with the town, had said that maybe that's not a bad idea, so. I don't know, and I just dropped the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't done anything about it, I've been so busy with 97.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something I wouldn't be involved as much as the selectmen would have to, if they were gonna, I don't know what they were thinking of offering.
Mm.
Then they'd probably put a gate up and
Yeah,
just leave it open for the hunting or whatever they do over
Yeah.
there.
yeah.
And I don't know what they were offering. That's the last conversation I had with her.
Yeah. Okay. So what I suggest is that we just pass a waiver to allow, you know, even though the work isn't completed on this project, to just waive the requirement that, you know, the project be done before we start another one.
So, because of the plantings,
Yeah, because DEP says, you know, that's all that needs to be done, so.
Yeah, well, you see, we were gonna do an order of conditions, and the culvert, too costly for that, there's nothing out there.
Yeah,
The only one that pays taxes is the state. So we're kinda dropping it,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. So is everyone agreeable with that? Isn't that a good solution? Because the other solution is to wait until that's done before we approve this order, this permit, which I don't think is a good idea because as we heard last time,
that
the
would be.
funds are at risk.
Yeah.
So there's no other order of conditions
No,
for the highway department for anything?
not related to this kind of stuff.
There's the Pines, but that's the 10, that's not the highway commission.
Right, right.
No, I don't think we have any other order of conditions.
You don't, no. All right, so I'll make a motion that we waive the requirement for completion of the project on JB Little Road in order to issue the permit for Route 97 reconstruction.
Second that.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. Okay. All right, so now we're back to Route 97. Do we have any other final questions on that? I looked through the minutes and tried to get as much in there from the minutes, but most of it is pretty straightforward.
Where will the millings go if they're not going to JB Little?
They'll go, we'll take them, well, they've changed the contract to back up a set. The whole road was gonna be milled, the whole section. And then they started doing reclamation in a section, which is, they come in, you've seen it, they grind it up.
And then melt it right
The
there.
pavement, and then they leave it for their base. And then another section was, complete excavation, which would they dig it out, down where they have some material. That might have been a quarter of it. So there's only about a third of the job's millings now. Because the Mass DOT has changed someone else gets it in Boston and changes the spec on the plan. That's why we can't keep changing this plan. It's dragging on. Anyway, the millings, we'll take the millings and we use it for roadside.
So you store it at the garage
Right.
down on Center Street?
Yeah, which we have now, we have some now. If we do mill any roads, we bring it in there. We have a small pile now.
Okay.
I thought the material would be good, but for the JB Little, but then that project, when the engineer told me it'd be not cost effective, that culvert. There's like 3 or 4 culverts that are underneath that would have to be replaced. We'd be talking a bridge, too much money. You know, almost impossible to stay in that area without doing any replication.
Right.
You couldn't do replication because it's water, you know, it's just.
For a road that nobody uses.
Shortcut to West Newbury. All right, so do we have any other questions or comments? As I said, the engineer on the project didn't have any other comments on the language in the permit, so I think it's pretty ready to go. And, you know, the other thing, if you recall, I think that in the end, the project is gonna be beneficial to the environment. You know, it's gonna have,
Improved situations.
make less impact, particularly on the drainage and the stormwater management issues there along that section of Route 97. So, you know, I think it's a good project to get done, and I certainly don't want to be blamed for holding this up. So, somebody want to make a motion to close the hearing and accept the requirements, accept, to issue the permit?
I make a motion to accept the application that's been put together as presented. That's it, right?
Yeah, close the we'll
And
close the hearing and issue the permits.
Yes.
I'll second that. Issue the permit. Yeah. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, okay. Unanimous. All right. So, I'll get you a copy of this.
Yeah.
Does
I'll send
the
it to
original-
Brian.
original go to him?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
He called, he didn't call, but the chief engineer called for you want a curb cut?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But he had told me on the phone today, he said should be a field change, because
Right.
unlike people, 97's owned by the town.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I give the curb cut, or whoever's in my position would give. If you do a field change, that way we don't have to change the plan, it goes back in the Mass DOT.
oh,
Yeah,
okay.
2 months.
Yeah, the
Oh,
engineer
curb
said that.
cut, he'll look at it. So what they do is they call it a field change while they're doing the construction.
Right.
What you do is you just put in a request for it during the construction. Is there some sort of sketch where they want it?
We had marked it up. and
Oh,
the
he has
engineer, Yeah, he had he knew exactly where it was.
All right, so that's what because he told me that on the phone, he left a message.
Yeah. He had the same thing, he's like, if we have to change the plan, he goes back and several months later before it comes out again.
Right, that's right by Riverford Pub 97, right, on that same side.
Yes, right.
It's in between,
So that was the note and
in between,
Right
Abbott
after
School and
the veterinarian place,
Yeah.
and before you get to
the coffee.
the coffee shop. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there was an opening there
Yes.
anyway.
Yes, it's just there's no curb cut, that's all.
There used to be an opening there,
Yeah,
because that's where they hauled the gravel out of.
Yeah, right.
Years ago.
right.
Okay.
And that's Fish and Game too. They own that
Right.
too, so.
Well, she gave, I don't know if it's something to follow up on JP Little, that's what, I don't have the authority to, this is what Pat said, we'll buy it.
Yeah,
I don't know if you know her.
yeah, I know. Yeah,
And that's what she said, now,
yeah.
I don't know what they're talking for, funds or anything, but
I don't know.
maybe it's something to, because the problem is, the reason why I wanna make it passable more, the liability issue,
Yeah,
the town.
Yeah.
So I think it's better off not having it.
yeah, right. Well, if the state buys it, then they can deal with
Right,
closing it down.
right.
you
It
know?
would be like a park, they'd
Yeah,
have a
right.
gate or something.
Right,
Because right now we have liability issue. I have a message on the phone, like, before we got all this snow, some fellow said his GPS took him through there, this is ridiculous, what are you doing? How do you take care of your roads? I don't know, he must have been from out of town, obviously.
The GPSs will take you crazy ways sometimes.
Yeah.
So that's my thing, and a lot of people don't understand it, the liability, because they don't, it's not just potholes there, it's craters.
yeah.
Yeah.
Someone goes down there in the night and goes off the road,
Hmm.
so we're gonna have to,
You put a Jersey barrier once and they made you move it? right?
well, yeah, I wanted to, I did that, but
They wouldn't allow you to leave.
no, you're not supposed to,
Cause you closed the road.
yeah. we just did it for a little while, but we did it. And I don't wanna maintain it myself either. I mean, we'd lose the road mileage, but it's not that, it's a mile, almost a mile. We'd keep some of it where the houses are.
Yeah,
In the corner right there.
Yeah. That's something to look into maybe down the road, I don't know. Because she gave me a map, and actually I should bring it in, of the,
you know what, I'm gonna mention that to, Alex Johnson, because I think she came to a meeting we had last year and one of the things we talked about was Crane Pond Reservation and everything else, big discussion, like West Newbury and Newbury were there and talking about, you know, what Fish and Game does with it. So if it comes up again, we can always throw that out there and ask, you know, what's going on with it.
right.
Are they planning on buying it or not?
The engineer that I had recommended, he said you
Yeah.
should talk to the selectmen about it. So. But I just been so busy, I didn't wanted to
Yeah,
get it done, get that enforcement order out of the way.
yeah.
But maybe we should, maybe, they must have some funds for that.
Oh, yeah.
She wouldn't have said that to me at a meeting.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see what we can find out.
And it would take away a lot of maintenance issues.
Yeah. All right. All right, so we're all set on that. I'll get him that signed document and get you a copy too, Bob.
All right, so we're all
Thanks.
set?
Yes, thank you.
Good.
Do we have anything for Bob for Pines or anything?
Oh, the Pines.
Let's not let Bob go without,
The Pines.
The Pines was on my list. Last time we asked Terry to go take a look at it. And, let's see.
the culvert and water that was going down. It was the
Yeah,
same
he
as-
says, he says regarding the Pines in northeast corner where they cut down all the trees in the part of the resource area on the hill and dug a gully to collect the runoff and direct it down the hill into the river and then put up some hay bales has been breached. We have not kept a good eye on this one, so I can't tell if it was deliberate or just started washing through. But there is now an 18-inch diameter gully running down the hill.
So let me bring some recollection of the past, just so that we know the story. So when we had gone to visit the Pines, remember originally we had an enforcement order because a whole bunch of trees were cut down within the buffer zone and they shouldn't have been. So we went in there, we got involved. Soon afterwards, as part of the construction, to relieve some water while they were doing stuff, a gully was dug that went like on the edge going against the hill over to the river to let the water go out.
On the side of that, they
yes.
dug a gully on the side
Yes,
of the
yes.
proposed
And we-
soccer field, whatever it is.
Yes, and so we went, we talked about it, and I forget who at the time, but they corrected it, right?
Yeah.
And fixed it to make it so that the water wasn't doing that, because you're not supposed to just have the water go
Yeah,
directly into
directly,
the
right.
wetlands, right?
Yeah.
So that was fixed, and basically what he's bringing up is that fix that was put into place apparently has been breached, and it's happening.
How'd they fix it, do you know what they do, put some check dams,
It was a very non-permanent fix, I think it was,
Is the gully even required now? I mean,
it shouldn't be there at all.
Right.
I mean, it really would need to be there as a retention pond to hold water, right? I mean, that would be the normal way you would handle it.
But I
but
think,
the gully should come around now, there's a existing catch basin there. Next to that softball field.
God knows when we're gonna see it again with all the snow on the ground, so.
We'll have to go out.
so do you know, when are they, so there's still a couple of piles of dirt there. When is it finished, you know?
They gotta be, we want them to get finished pretty quick, I mean,
So probably in the
I've been-
spring.
I kinda like, I'm overseeing it now. Usually Greg was doing it.
Right, I know, this one went out first.
So Denise and I have been doing it. So in the spring, yes. I get that steep bank and hydro seeded, if you see on
Yep.
Main Street.
Yeah.
We got that, we caught that just in time. The boat ramp is delayed.
Again,
Oh, we had to, because, it was getting too late the way they, so the engineers talking to the Army Corps, they're worried about the Army Corps about, because new permits come out every 5 years, I think, with the Army Corps,
Mm-hmm.
new, regulations in their permits. So, they're working on that, so what they wanna do is put it out to bid in August. And start the work in September, the outer water work, and then and then finish the in-water work right before winter.
Right, because that's the out season, right?
Yeah, and so that would be a better scenario. So that's what that's another thing. And then we're gonna try to get the rest of this project loomed and seeded by
Can-
spring.
Can we be involved so that
Yeah, we
that
should have
everybody's happy when we're all done? kind
well,
of
yeah, but we should have a meeting, a
Site-
site walk,
Yeah,
when the snow goes, and then you can explain to me that.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, it's gonna be really bad, right, is this, I mean, you're not gonna need us to know what the problem is, and when this snow melts, right, because you're gonna have a massive amount
I'm gonna have to go
Water.
over and look. I know what you mean, there was a hill, and then they cut it down, and then they put a swale along the steep bank and facing the
correct,
bridge,
correct,
facing downtown.
right
Right.
down into the water, and it was running.
Yeah, well, it shouldn't go down, it should come around and go into a catch basin.
Right, but that's not what was there, and that was the reason
All
why
right,
we
so-
highlighted it.
Yeah.
So maybe, so you can keep an eye on it, maybe if needed, throw some hay bales
Yeah,
before springtime on it. And then,
Because we just don't want, so if he already said it was breached, when this snow melts, it's gonna turn into a river, right?
oh, yeah, yeah. We'll have to, then maybe we should, in the spring, have a site, like, when you go out Saturday mornings to look at another,
yeah,
we'll meet down there.
yes, so what I'll do, it probably makes sense like in April or so. So what I'll do is we'll put it on our agenda, Julie, for next month to talk about this again, and then we'll contact Bob about some kind of site walk in the beginning of April, if that makes sense weather-wise.
Yeah. This goes fast though, the snow.
Yeah,
Even, I know it, but it looks like it's never gonna go.
yes.
But that's
The
the,
flat parts will empty out, it's the pile that'll take a long time.
but that's the story with the boat ramp too.
Yeah,
And that's a better scenario, as long as the Army Corps is not gonna be make us change a lot of, the engineer didn't think so, he spoke to someone.
So when is that gonna happen then?
in the
Because
fall.
they change their permitting every 5 years, and we're in that envelope.
there's
When's-
August.
August.
They'll put it out to bid, just before, right in August, 1st of August, and then they'll make it so construction can start in September. And not out of the water construction, and then in water construction can be done. Whoever gets the bid in August can order the boat ramp, because it's like a precast
Right.
product. And that can get all ordered, the beams, that was the issue. They probably put it out the bid too late. So we won't be coming here asking for, like, if it's in March, we want an extension or something, in the middle of the winter. So it should be done. And then just some lumen seeding in the spring, did halt construction in the winter. The boat ramp would be in, and then in the spring would be lumen seed. Clean.
Stabilize it. Okay.
All right, so we're all set with that then,
We're all set.
nothing else for Bob.
I think we're all set.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah, so we'll be in touch with you on.
Yeah, I'll go down and look at that. I can't get down there now
Yeah.
because,
No.
It
You won't
wasn't-
miss anything anyway.
well, there was a bulldozer parked near there where you're talking. They moved it out of there, so there's no equipment left on the site or anything.
That's good.
Maybe it's just you being up to your waist. But when like he says, Kyle says, when the spring starts runoff,
Yeah.
we'll get down there. All right.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
Okay, just a couple of other things I have. One is, the town completed the purchase of the Angelini property, 2 weeks ago.
Yay.
So now all 3 properties have been purchased, so that's good. We have control and management over the Angelini and the Mattingly parcels, not the busing parcel, because the selectmen paid with that on a bond. So right now I'm working on the conservation restriction that needs to go on those 2 properties with Tom Cusick from the water department. We've been going through this for the last year or so. The last step last few steps, the water department has to approve how their desire to have it as a portion of it be a potential well site, be protected in the future. Once we get that figured out, then we'll be working with Essex County Greenbelt to move the conservation restriction through the state process that it needs to go through. So I'm expecting that it may take, another 6 months or so to do that. But it's on its way, so that's a good thing. So, I know that the Open Space and Trails is excited about this. They've been in touch with the Bagnell 4th graders about surveying the site and finding out what trails are already there and everything else. So that's gonna start going on next fall, so that'll be a good thing. And also the selectmen voted at their last meeting to put together a committee to look at the former busing property and what and how it will be used. So that's another good thing. Terry's gonna be on that committee. He volunteered for it, so.
I don't know, great. The busing property is the one they're still gonna be removing soil from.
No, that's Angelini.
That's it, isn't it?
Busing is the one in front on Center Street. It's the one with all the,
Yeah, okay.
where the fields are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what dirt are they doing? That was on
Angelini,
but where are they moving from?
the back side of it.
Yeah,
That was
remember our
the
notice
sidewalk.
of intent that we approved?
I remember the sidewalk.
I missed a couple of meetings with all the traveling.
It was
It's
like,
behind,
That's a long time ago.
it was a long time.
If you walk in the gate from Center Street and you walk straight ahead, you come to another gate that goes into the Angelina property.
Mhm.
You walk by a big loom field that he had in there. He's gonna take loom out of there. It's mostly like compost.
When is that happening anyway?
It could start this year. I mean, he's gonna wanna try to get the stuff out. He's got 5 years to get it out though, so
Yeah.
I'm hoping that he gets it out
We gave him
soon.
some pretty clear things that he needed to do with markings and calling us and all that stuff.
Yeah,
in
right.
that order of conditions.
Right,
Cause we
Because
talked
it
to him
was
about
steep
like,
and there was stuff that he was taking.
yeah, right, the further in
access
that
was
steep
tough.
hill.
Yep.
Alright, so that's Center Street. And then I got a request from, Tom Nevy regarding Stonebridge, the lots over there that nothing was built on yet. Okay, so what he says is that, he plans on finishing the work on the lot lots on Stonebridge Road this year. And they researched the orders of condition and the dates that they expire, and this is what they came up with. If you recall, when you first go in on Stonebridge, lot 1A, it's right on the left-hand side, they have an outstanding permit for that expires on July 15th of this year. And then,
Was that the one that was supposed to be deeded over?
no, lot 1A was them. Then there was lot 1B and C, if that's where one of those was supposed to be given to the town, but the town didn't want to take it, the selectmen chose not to take it. So what they did was, they finally combined lot 1B and C into a new one called lot 1D, which is already restricted building on the 1C portion of it. So, in other words, they could have built 3 houses there, instead they're only building 2 houses on lots 1A and 1D. And that has a permit that's gonna expire on July 15th. Then there's lot 15, which, I'm not sure where that is. It's one of the unbuilt lots. That has permits that are gonna expire on April 11th of this year. And then there's lot 24A, which I believe is, one of these is right at the entrance. Not inside, but you know where
Is that the old
red house, yes,
that they
it's
just
right
worked
next
on?
to that. There's a permit on that, I think that's 24A. And that has permits that are gonna expire this year in June, and then another year later in June, the DEP permit expires on that. They're not concurrent in that case, because those have never been renewed yet.
Just
So-
so I understand, what's the significance of the permit expiring? Do they have to start work before that expires, or what's?
So they have to apply
Refile.
for,
Yeah, if they don't file an extension, then the time runs out.
So they have to have completed construction by then and get a COC?
Completed
Apply.
construction.
Okay.
So this is what he says, I have lots 24A, 1A and D, 1D under agreement with a builder who plans on beginning construction as soon as possible. So, here's his question. If he begins construction and gets a lot of work done before the orders expire, can he continue to work and finish the lot under an enforcement order? I've operated that way in the past in other towns, but wanted to check with you on the commission's policy. And they do plan on refiling or filing for an extension on lot 15 before it expires in April. So, out of those 4 lots, he wants to file for an extension on one of them. In the other 3, he would like us to do it with an enforcement order versus a extension. And you know why that is, because if you look at our
cheaper.
price list, the cost of an extension, we increased that significantly because we didn't want extensions.
So
I don't know
my
what it is.
feeling is, what is it, he has to apply 2 months before, I think it is, for an extension?
No, I don't think there's any time.
There's something like within 30 days or some. But anyway, my point is, if he wants to, I can imagine one of those lots, if not 2, he could probably build and be, probably done by some of them are in July. Well, maybe not. But my feeling is otherwise he should just file for an extension.
Yeah, the cost of an extension is $50 a month. The cost of removing an enforcement order is $400. So,
Why is, now, is he aware?
I don't think he caught that one. But I mean, what is he, You know, I mean, you might need a 3-month extension or something, you know.
In my mind, an enforcement order is when something goes wrong,
Yeah.
and there's nothing wrong yet on these lots, so let's just do, we should file for the extension.
Yeah.
So what is he asking for? He's asking you for an opinion right now?
Yeah, yeah. He sent me this quite a while ago, and I haven't had a chance to answer him because I wasn't sure. And then had this meeting upcoming, so I figured might as well bring it and see what everybody else thought about it. All right, so,
That's my feeling, do an extension, I don't know if you guys.
Yeah, no, I think that makes much more sense.
yeah, no, I think you're right.
He just needs to know though that he can't start anything until April 16th.
Yeah.
Because the first thing they're gonna do is start digging.
Well, I don't know what the, trying to think. I'd have to look back on the plans for those.
Well,
So
the-
if they're outside the jurisdictional area, we don't have a seasonal restriction.
Well, the ones are all right next to the river there.
Okay,
brook.
so they're.
And the 24A is the one I'm thinking of next to the red
Yes,
house. That's right
that's-
next to the river, and they're actually digging for the sewer line is like 40 feet from the brook there, or
Yeah.
30 feet or something like that. It's
Yeah,
really
okay.
close.
Yeah, I think lot 15 is the only one that probably, the house is outside of the buffer zone. But all of these, obviously, they really shouldn't be working on any of them before April 15th, because that's why they have a permit. If they were outside of the buffer zone, any
Yeah.
work was outside of the buffer zone, they wouldn't even have to have a
No, that's
permit from
fair,
us,
yeah.
you know. So I don't know the specifics on each one, but
It's been like, when did they start that, 2001?
yeah, a long time ago. All right, I think that's it. Does anyone have anything else?
I don't think we ever voted on minutes.
Minutes, right, you had it checked off, but I.
Oh, okay, yep.
I'd like to make a motion too that they turn the heat up earlier.
Second.
I got here as early as
All
I
in
could.
favor?
Aye.
trouble
Probably should
is-
be here at 6 o'clock to turn on.
The trouble is, whoever
Gosh,
comes
it's
to
cold
turn it up, has to sit here
frozen
and
for
suffer through it. It was 44 in here when I got here.
Don't the pipes freeze?
No, not at 45.
No, I know that, I know.
No, but
Borderline.
luckily we haven't had that problem. We have a leaking roof problem here.
Some
We
ice
had to
chips.
file an insurance claim because the roof is leaking there in the dining room and upstairs in that apartment and oh, yeah. But anyway, all right, so is there a motion to accept the minutes? Somebody wanna do that?
Motion that we accept the minutes from January
14th.
14th
I had one very tiny change.
with the following change.
Yes.
Jeff instead of,
Jeff instead of Joey and Maria's.
yes.
Yeah,
Joey and Maria, that's one of those
please.
plays, yeah.
There you go. Freudian slip there,
Probably
Julie, right?
they-
Julie was thinking of
Probably
that.
really late when I was typing in minutes.
Yeah. Okay. So the motion's been made, I second.
Somebody second
I
it?
second it, yeah, that's what I said.
Oh, okay.
Who made the motion?
Tommy did the motion.
Alright.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, okay. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
Do we need to worry about sign-offs, or?
Oh, Monday's a holiday, so I'm.
Where's the sign off? I'm probably doing
Where's
that.
it?
No, I'm like, so I missed, I'm like scoring here.
It's just snowed every Monday.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you're right.
Hey, I would have been there. I'm actually,
I feel beside myself. I haven't been like doing it like every other week.
you know, all
missing
this
in my life.
springtime.
Like this March, well,
It's
this
true.
coming- Tom, I think he's putting himself on in March.
What's that?
I says Tom better put himself on in March.
It's gonna snow on the 23rd of March, there's gonna be a blizzard.
No,
Oh, more snow.
there we go. I don't have that. So,
And our meeting is March 11th, next month. And we will be meeting at Town Hall next month.
Why?
Because we have to put on the agenda to discuss to have a public meeting on the bylaw changes. According to the selectmen, they want us to do that again, even though we already had one. So they requested that we have one, and we have it at Town Hall. So our next meeting, March 11th, 7 PM, will be at Town Hall.
Have we,
I guess I'm already in there.
So,
to,
Julie, we can post that meeting and put on there, we don't have anything else right now, but at least put on there that will,
wait a
be
minute.
discussing bylaw
Want me to do
changes.
that? Can somebody swap with me?
second,
I'll take the next, can you guys swap with that one? I'm
I'm
gonna be remote.
I can't do that Monday.
Yeah, I'm off that one.
I'll send you my son with me.
it is good.
Here, I'll take your
March,
Tom
right?
one that you get down there, Tom. Just.
No, leave that there, that's,
Okay.
I wrote it down, Carl.
Then give that one a call. Then give that one a call.
Can you do the
Yeah.
third?
Put me the 30th.
The 30th?
No, 23rd, yeah.
Okay, 23rd, and then let's make Terry the 30th. I'll
Julie.
invite him right now.
So, wait, so I'm doing March 2nd, okay.
Hey, that's pretty good for us. We're actually out over a month and a half.
It is.
All right, we wrapping this thing up? We need to.
Yes.
I
close it.
make a motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Abstain, no.